more.
Yeah, Jeff, great to have you with us again. Appreciate you always being willing to come down and talk to the folks on the radio about safety tips, usually fire related safety tips, whether it be 4th of July, Christmas time, cold weather tips. And when we scheduled you a week or so ago, I guess we really didn't know it was going to be as cold as what's coming up. So this turns out to be a pretty good timing to have you here to talk about this.
Perfect timing. Good morning, Sandy Milton. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Now, just a couple weeks ago, I guess 2.5 weeks ago, maybe, or a week and a half ago, I can't remember exactly. We were down to single digits. And did the fire department have any calls related to dangerous issues where folks had tried some methods to keep warm that ended up causing a fire or some health hazard?
We were very busy, especially the first of the year, the holiday. We actually ran 3 structure fires in a 2-day period, and all 3 were basically due to the extreme cold weather and taxing of heating systems and hot water systems, and mostly they were weather related.
Mm-hmm. And the holidays, that is a time when whether it be a live Christmas tree or just some other sort, like say, heating systems. We had some cold weather over the Christmas season as well. So that's a time that you get a lot of calls.
Those calls were those days that it got down into the teens, and it was really taxing people's heating systems and their ability to stay warm.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now, Sandy, of course, we're calling for 13 tonight. I think 10 degrees, a couple nights away, and going to be way down in the teens the next 4 nights. Jeff, what are some of the things that people do that just aren't very good ideas?
Well, typically with my 30-plus year career, anytime the weather gets this extreme, this cold, we always get very busy. So we just try to remind folks to really utilize a lot of common sense when they're trying to stay warm. Naturally, by this time, they should have had a professional check their heating system, make sure that it's operating properly, filters are changed, that it's working at its maximum capability. And then people use alternative heating systems such as wood stoves and kerosene heaters. We really remind people to be very careful there. Always keep 36-inch clearance away from any fireplace heating source, especially kerosene heaters. Mm-hmm. A lot of fires that are reported all across the country are due to alternative heating such as kerosene heaters, electric space heaters, and they can be very dangerous. That clearance is so important.
Mm-hmm. Sandy?
Is it something that you move in front of it or maybe throw on top of it just accidentally can cause a major problem?
Yeah.
A lot of fires can be attributed to those type of things.
Yeah. Window curtains for one thing.
Exactly.
Can get up against something that you're using for heat, kerosene heater or so forth. Kerosene heaters, using them indoors, of course, that's what else would you, I guess, where else would you use one? But should there be some sort of ventilation coming in a window? And a lot of people think, well, this just kind of defeats the purpose. But a lot of you read that to have some sort of fresh air coming into the room, it means you have to crack a window or something. Is that the thing to do?
We recommend that, but also people are trying to stay warm, so they're trying to seal their houses tighter and tighter and be weatherproof as possible. So what we recommend, the ultimate thing to have, is a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector. Yeah. Both of those instruments, the carbon monoxide detector, the gas is colorless, odorless. You're getting poisoned and you don't realize it. You can't smell it, taste it, and it gets into your bloodstream, makes you sleepy. You'll go to sleep and you'll never wake up. So a carbon monoxide detector is critical, as well as a smoke detector. They operate different. The carbon monoxide detects the actual carbon monoxide gas, and a smoke detector picks up the particulate carbon matters inside smoke once a fire starts. So we recommend you have those and test them monthly.
Yeah, and just before we went on the air, we talked about something we've talked about before. The Cherryville Fire Department will provide smoke detectors for those who are in need.
Yes, through the Gaston County Firefighters Association, we have a fund and do fundraisers to purchase smoke detectors at a very good wholesale price, and then we give them away to the elderly and for people who can't afford a smoke detector. If your family does not have a working smoke detector, you can call our business number Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and it's 704-435-1730, and we'll make arrangements to have a firefighter or two come out and install a smoke detector. We don't have the means to give away carbon monoxide at this point, but we can give away and install, and even come out and test your system or test your change your batteries, especially for the elderly folks. Just give us a call at that 435-1730 phone number.
Okay, Sandy, you had a story you heard about, and we were trying to think of the name. Jeff maybe can help us. These stoves that people have outside.
Yeah.
What are they?
Well, we decided we're going to call them outside fireplaces. 'Cause
Yeah,
we cannot think
I
of the
can't
name.
think of the name of them either. But you've talked to him about this before we went on the air.
Yeah, just some people think, well, I can burn this outside. You know, it's pretty and it'll look pretty in here to burn some wood in. But you got that carbon monoxide
Yeah.
problem. You can't do that.
On the outdoors, it's you're not going to be affected by it, but indoors, that release is going to stay indoors. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one myself, and it's strictly for outside use only. I've heard horror stories of people bringing them in and their families be poisoned by carbon monoxide across the country, as well as gas grills and charcoal grills.
yeah.
People have brought those indoors to try to help stay warm, and it's just not a good idea because they're designed for outdoor use, not indoor use, because of the ventilation issue.
And with the cold weather, a lot of us, me included, I'm a procrastinator. I wait till the last minute to try to get something done. Somebody says, okay, at the last minute, I'm going to put in a wood stove today. I'm going to get it ready. The cold weather's coming. These wood stoves really, they need to be professionally installed. They need to be, if it's been in there a while, you need to have everything checked out about those as well.
We highly recommend that a professional install them, and there's several in our area, and you always follow the manufacturer's recommendations and guidelines for installation. And those existing wood stoves that's in place, they need to be cleaned and inspected. The chimney needs to be inspected to make sure there's no leaks that could get in the attic and cause a attic fire.
Yeah. What about the little heaters that you buy at department stores, hardware stores, just like little bedroom heaters, bathroom heaters?
The electric ones can be very dangerous. Sometimes they can overheat. If they're causing breakers to trip, there's a problem. You need to call a licensed electrician and get them in there to find out what's going on, and you should not utilize it if it's tripping breakers. They make these ceramic type heaters now, and a lot of office ladies and guys will put them under their desk. Those are relatively safe, but they need to still have adequate space around them to where no combustibles can come in contact with them, and them tend to be some of the more safer ones, those ceramic type heaters.
Yeah. Okay. One thing you told me that I just never really thought of, if you burn wood, whether in a fireplace, wood stove, or whatever, when you dispose of the ashes, they can still be warm. They can still ignite a fire somewhere.
I have been to so many fires throughout the years where people have cleaned out their fireplace or their wood stoves. Hopefully they're putting them in a metal container as they take them outside, but you need to properly dispose of them. Make sure it's not any away from the house or any exterior buildings that you may have, and away from any woods or standing timber, and really wet those embers, because those embers can smolder and burn there for hours, and eventually the wind could kick them up and set your house on fire or the woods on fire or an outbuilding. So you got to be careful how you dispose of those hot ashes.
Yeah, and along with the cold weather that they're calling for tonight, the wind, another issue as well this evening, and we've just seemed to have so much windy weather, whether it's down in the teens or whatever the temperature. We seem to have a lot of windy weather here lately, and for areas where outdoor burning is allowed, I guess the city of Cherryville probably doesn't allow like burning of brush and things like that.
We do at certain times of year, and we
Okay.
follow the North Carolina Forestry Service's guidelines for burning. Some people like to burn leaves, and we will allow leaf burning when there is no pickup by the city of leaves. We have trucks, at least two trucks go around and pick up leaves. So while the city is doing that service, we don't allow that burning. But in off season, when weather conditions are okay, we will issue a permit. Now, recreational type, the chimneys, the fireplaces, bonfires for religious purposes, those can still go on without a permit, and those are the one that we cautious folks to be very careful. This weekend, we had a bonfire that the folks thought the fire was completely out. Well, the embers got up in the wind over the weekend, and it became a dangerous situation. We had to go down and put the fire out.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sandy, anything you'd like to?
Well, you know, we had a chimney fire one time at my house. Scary. I opened the patio door and the smoke came from behind the hearth. Didn't realize anything was wrong until we saw that. And then, of course, we called the fire department and all this. But it was the one year we didn't have our chimney checked out like we should have. So, you know, we did that ourselves. But like you say, by this point in time in the winter, everybody should have had that done. But if you do build a fire and you feel like something's wrong, you need to call somebody. Don't go to sleep thinking, well, I hope that don't do this or that. You need to call somebody, let them out there to check it.
Simple thing to do, if you suspect something's, dial 911, get us en route, and then close all the dampers and all the doors, and that'll help reduce the situation a great deal till we can get on the scene and handle the situation.
Yeah. One thing about burning wood, certain types of wood, there's a built-up of creosote in the chimney and so forth. That can cause a chimney fire very easily.
And a lot of people used to burn out their chimney from the creosote, but what that does, that weakens the mortar in the joints of the bricks, and then once it's compromised, there's gases can escape in the attic, even sparks and flames. Then we got a full-blown attic fire and a full-blown house fire. So it's important to have it checked.
Yeah, and going off and leaving something like a supplemental heater going while you're away.
Never leave them unattended. If you're going to utilize them, always have somebody with them. Never leave them unattended.
Yeah, these that you see for sale, and I'll name a name brand that's real popular. The Eden Pure heaters. They're very expensive. They're supposed to do what they're supposed to do, but still, yet even though they're expensive and quite the modern thing now, that's not safe to leave on.
Yeah, still hazardous. Have somebody maintain it, and be sure you got those clearances of at least 36 inches around any type of space heater or auxiliary type heating.
Yeah. Electric blankets. A lot of folks use electric blankets. Some folks are scared to death to go to sleep under an electric blanket.
That's my mother's favorite thing in her house is her electric blanket, so she would never part with it. They're safe, especially if they're UL stamped. You can check on the tag, make sure they're Underwriters Laboratory approved, and as long as they're not causing any problems, you're safe. If they get worn, frayed, or just an extremely aged blanket, probably time to toss it out and buy a new one.
Yeah. You mentioned a while ago breakers tripping. If you have an older home and everything you do trips a breaker, or you see the light dimming when something's on, that's time to call an electrician, and maybe you consider a total house, upgrade and something like that.
Heating is the number one cause of house fires in the United States, second only to electrical issues. So if you've got breakers or even the old type fuses and they're causing you problems, you definitely need to call a professional licensed electrician to come in and do evaluation of your circuitry to see what's going on.
Yeah, it could be a little costly, but hey, when it saves you from burning your house down, the cost is very, very little compared to that, what you'd go through there. Again, we're talking with Cherryville Fire Chief Jeff Cash here today about safety tips with the cold weather coming, and some of these tips you can use year round, of course, like we're talking about your electrical wiring and stuff. But Chief Cash, also with cold weather, sometimes it brings ice and sleet, bad road conditions, snow, etc. The fire department stays busy on those days, I'm sure.
Yes, when the weather goes south, if you will, our call volume goes up. Not only us, but the paramedics, the rescue squads, and the police department as well. So we encourage folks, unless you absolutely have to be out in it, we encourage you to stay home and do what you need to do at home, and try to avoid travel unless you absolutely have to.
Well, one of the things people don't think about, they think about, well, I can get around, but, I've got four-wheel drive, but nothing goes really well in ice. And another thing you need to think about are these people, the rescue people, the fire department people. They have to get out there too. You have to be out on that same road to go to the scene of an accident. You're in danger as well.
Exactly, and we try to have the necessary equipment for the fire trucks and the patrol cars, chains, etc. But unless you're equipped to do that, we just recommend people stay home and enjoy the day, enjoy the family.
There you go. Let's make it a snow day and or whatever day, and stay off the roads if something like that comes along. So far this year, and for the most part, I guess last year, we've been pretty lucky as far as ice and snow and road conditions go. But we have had some brutally cold temperatures.
It has been a winter this year so far.
Yeah, we're getting the kind of winter a lot of folks thought we might. And so just remember with the temperature being what it is tonight and that wind chill, 13 degrees. Folks who have to be out traveling late, say you work the late shift, you're coming home early, or you're going to work late tonight, and heaven forbid your car breaks down. A gentleman called me the day we had the 6-degree weather that morning. Gentleman called us on the swap shop. It's only going to get up 25 degrees that day. He was broken down on the side of the road. He had his cell phone, but he couldn't get a hold of anybody. That can be a dangerous situation, especially in the middle of the night. You're broke down on the side of the road. You can't get a hold of anybody. There's some things you should always have in your car, just in case you have
jumper cables, flashlight, keep a blanket in the trunk of your car. But if your cell phone still has battery and activity, instead of trying to get hold of families, members, and your phone may be weakening, always dial 911 if it's an emergency and you can't get a hold of nobody else. We wouldn't want anybody stranded in the type of weather that we're going to experience tonight. Simply dial 911. At least a patrol car or a fire truck will come and render aid to that individual.
There's just all kinds of situations that can occur that you never think about. I mean, Sandy, anything you could interject?
Well, I think about a lot of people I know still don't have a cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
So they need to take everything into consideration. What if I break down? If I have to go to work and something happens to my car, what will I do? You need to have a safety plan in that. Tell your husband or wife or mate, I'm going to work. I should be there in 30 minutes, and I'll call you when I get there. I mean, just use the old school things to stay safe.
And common sense.
Common sense.
It's a little far-fetched for our area because our ponds and rivers don't freeze over that much. But should you, especially kids, come upon an icy water area like a pond that may have some ice on it, it's not going to be like it is in the movies. And you could really get seriously hurt there.
Kids need to stay away from those areas. But like you said, we have cold weather, but we don't have that continuous cold weather where a pond will freeze solid. We might get a skimming of ice, and that's just dangerous waiting to happen.
So obviously, I'm just sitting here trying to think of the things that could happen that you never think of that would happen. So that's certainly a possibility. Children, if it does get down into the low teens or 10 degrees or single digits, there may be some icy places forming, but we don't usually have that kind of ice over our ponds, etc. in this area, thank goodness. But Jeff, any other situation you can think of or topic you want to bring up?
One thing, we've seen an increase in fires of once people have frozen pipes that they try to thaw them out by heating them or putting a torch on them. Be very careful with that because a pipe can conduct heat. You can be torching a section of a pipe and it catch on fire inside the house. So always be careful. I recommend folks when it gets this cold to open their cabinets in their bathroom and kitchen and let some of the warmer air in their house circulate around the piping to help to keep them from freezing. And they make those covers you can put over your outside faucets that go a long way and help protecting those. But if they do freeze, call a professional, get them to help your plumber with that versus trying to unthaw or dethaw the pipes if they happen to freeze.
Are the strips you wrap around, like people who live in mobile homes have a real problem with the pipes underneath the mobile, and they use the
tape
strips. Are they safe?
They're safe. Make sure they're UL approved and that you just follow the manufacturer's recommendations as you're installing that on those pipes that are exposed to the exterior and to the wind and stuff.
And another thing folks trying to do, in addition to staying warm, is do it without spending more money than they have to, but buying used heaters and things like that. What should you look for?
I'm very skeptical of the used heaters. If you do choose to go that route, I would have it inspected by somebody that knows about that type of equipment and would really give it a good going through before I actually put it in my home for use.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Sandy.
Oh, we had a little heater one time that we kept in the bathroom, and it would get so hot you could kind of smell the wires or the something. Well, we got rid of that. But if there's any kind of an odor, I would think it come off of it. You think something's burning, just unplug it and do away with it. Don't try to use it.
If a cord is hot to touch, it's probably needs to be
the power
examined or thrown out.
Yeah.
If it's so hot that you cannot hardly touch the electrical cord, there's probably a problem.
And again, going back to children also, children can, you tell them don't touch, don't get around the stove, but accidents can happen involving children and certain heating devices. And I know one thing I've heard of in the past, and perhaps some people still do it, is opening the oven door. Is there any danger as far as fumes or gases or anything there?
If it's a gas stove, there's the carbon monoxide issue, and then there's the combustibles too close. But I remember as a young boy, my mother heating our kitchen by turning on the oven. But you just have to be very careful of that, make sure there's no combustibles around it. And it was electric oven, not a gas. But it's something you got to be very careful with.
And bathroom heaters, you got water and electrical devices in close proximity there. So.
Exactly. Be careful of electrical shock there.
Okay.
Well, Chief, like you said, a lot of it's just common sense.
Common sense approach.
But I hope we stay warm, and everybody, if you if you're cold now, you need to do something about it before nighttime. Call some resources in to help you out.
Yeah, we're looking at 4 nights in a row that are going to be extremely cold. Like I say, the last time I looked, I believe it was 13 tonight, around 17 tomorrow night, 10 the next night, and 18 the next night. So that's 4 pretty cold nights in a row.
Especially for us.
Yeah, for us.
In this part of North Carolina.
All right. Well, Chief Cash, thanks again for coming in.
No problem.
Absolutely.
And if folks need us or have questions, feel free to call us at the fire station, 435-1730.
All right.
Okay.
And that's our community profile for today. Chief Jeff Cash, Cherryville Fire Department. And, of course, in the area you're listening in, if you're in Shelby, Lincoln, or in one of the outlying areas of these counties we serve, have any questions, check with your local fire department or other officials, and sure they can answer any questions you might have.
That's right.
Other fire departments probably have certain programs for assistance to their citizens.
Yes, all across the Tri-County area here, Cleveland, Lincoln, Gaston, the fire departments are usually on board for the same type programs we have.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
All
you,
right.
Chief.
Sandy, who's coming in tomorrow?
We'll have Jill Miracle with us from Rutherford County, and via phone we're going to talk to Pam Stone.
Pam is an actress, right?
She is. She used to
on
play
the-
on Coach.
Coach.
Now, I don't know any other movies or things she's done, but we'll find out.
Okay. All right. That's tomorrow. And we thank you for tuning in. The Community Profile is heard Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday here on WLON, WHS, and WCSL. We thank you for listening to the program today and invite you in again tomorrow.
No matter when you listen,
I put on the radio when I'm getting ready.
We keep it on at work.
we're the station you can count on.
Big O Country, WHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, WCSL Cherryville Gastonia. How would you like to be the Big O Country WhatsApp shopper?